Hey, it's Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
girls want to do the rejecting.
Yeah.
That sums it up, and we're going to drill down on this.
And I would say it's girls hate to be rejected.
And it's almost a twin. I mean, it's almost twin. They want to be the ones rejecting.
Yeah.
And they will avoid being rejected.
Yeah.
At all costs. And let me drill down to like where this is coming from. So Bumble's had trouble with making money, but that doesn't mean the app doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with it, it's you and a girl match, but she has to message you first. And there's really 3 messages you'll get from a girl. You'll get hi, hey, or huh. And that's the 3. And then you're supposed to carry, because they're not like men. They don't have openers. And they are not comfortable with it. So it's almost like this thing was built on a premise that's not natural to women. But what is the advantage to women?
Well, the reason though that it was, yes, it goes against our nature to instigate conversation, but the problem is it's a backlash from the match days, the match.com, where literally as soon as a girl would get a profile, you would just start being flooded with messages from men. And it wasn't about attractiveness. You might not even have pictures up yet. It was nuts. It was like the Wild West. And so Bumble was created very much as a response to that. So I get where it's coming from. And girls will say that that's something that they like about it, because then they're not just getting a bunch of randos. But the problem is then they have no way to start the conversation. And as much as these apps try really hard to say, maybe ask him about his astrology, or maybe ask him about, that's a terrible example, maybe ask him about his baseball career, maybe ask him about the car that was in that picture. They don't do any of that. They say, hey, hello, oh, hi. And then it's up to you. That's
right. But the whole premise, so in response to Bumble having their money problems, I said, quoted, why can't girls just approach me? That's what guys will say that when they're pretty new. Why can't they just approach me? Because they, and the deal is girls are hardwired to be submissive and not make the first move, even when it's the format of the app.
Right.
And one of the guys responded to me, and I thought it was really interesting. He goes, women want to do the rejecting, ignoring. They do not want to see themselves getting rejected. Women don't even want to get a hint of their actual dating market value and want to maintain the illusion of highly valued queen who selects or rejects.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty, because Bunny and I were talking about this before we got on here. And it's a 2-pronged thing. Not only, they want everything.
Yeah.
They want to reject everyone, and they want to choose.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a double-edged sword, and they want total control.
Yeah.
Because even if they say hi, and then you don't respond, they consider that rejection.
Well, and that's why we females don't invest more into the initial responses, is so that way, if you ghost, if you never respond, it's like, oh, I wasn't really invested in that.
Exactly. And I think guys will do that too, where they'll go, oh, you're a bitch anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's universal, but I think girls take it worse. They're just not designed for that.
Well, because it truly is, if you're rejected at that stage, it truly is based on your looks.
It could be her sheer numbers. You know what I mean? I mean, kind of like I try to convey to guys.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it has nothing to do with you. It's like she got distracted. She lost her phone. Her ex came back into town. And I think if a guy doesn't respond, don't hold me to this, of course, because he matched with her.
Yeah, exactly.
He just got busy.
Maybe. Sometimes, I see what you're saying, but it always surprises me when I get on the back end of girlfriends who are on on the dating apps or social media for this kind of purpose. you're right. You just matched with them. So you said, hey, how are you today? And you get crickets, and you're like,
he was just on here.
We just matched. It
Yeah,
says you're on here right now.
That is weird.
You know, it's
that
like...
that would be very hard on a girl.
That's hard on girls.
Yeah.
That's very hard on girls.
And guys they have enough problems. I mean, can you imagine not being designed to deal with it?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's a double whammy. But I think it's interesting where he says, girls, this is where you end up with the 368-point checklist.
Right.
By a woman who has no rights,
yeah,
for good or bad, to be making demands,
right?
You know, and I think it softens the blow when they don't have a boyfriend or any serious suitors, because for a lot of younger guys they go, well, I guess as older women they become less picky, and you're like, oh
quite
no, that'd be great, that'd be fucking wonderful, but they become more picky and crazier, I mean, because
crazy with their expectations.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yes, they know what they don't want, but and they've had more bad experiences,
right?
And I'm saying this with all seriousness, so they've kind of like earned the right to go, I don't want to date an alcoholic,
right?
Because they've already married one, I mean, so it's hard-earned lessons.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think that's definitely what the bullet point checklists are for, and you can kind of ignore them. But that's a hell of a way to go through, and that's why even indicators of interest.
Yeah.
A lot of it's unconscious.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
I mean, you're talking to a girl and she's giggling at every silly joke.
Yeah, you're not that funny.
Then she starts twirling that hair on a finger. She's not doing any of that. She's just enjoying the conversation.
Right.
But she's doing it unconsciously.
Yeah.
She's aroused or interested,
Exactly.
So, or open, like I always like to say, open to suggestion.
That's right.
So, that's the real deal. So, you have to understand, that's also why girls are, shy at first.
Right.
They are just passive, and that they do not change. Bunny is I wouldn't say aggressive, but, you talked a lot from the beginning.
Sure.
You may not.
Have you met me?
But I wouldn't. But I wouldn't know that. I mean, there are girls like you that only certain people they talk a lot to.
Sure.
In the beginning.
Sure.
You tend to be pretty, easygoing everywhere. But most girls, you have to do all the heavy lifting.
Right.
For a long time sometimes to get anything out of them.
But do understand with apps like Bumble, whether you're using social media as kind of a dating platform, there are all kinds of different avenues to meet girls. But understand that just because, the whatever is designed, whether it's speed dating or whatever, is designed for her to have to be the one who makes the first move, that doesn't mean that you don't still have to have your game and run your playbook. That's where, you still have all the balls in your court. You still have to, control the game, even though she has to, throw out the first pitch, so to speak.
Exactly. So don't get discouraged. You just understand. The better you understand girls' passivity, the better you'll do with women.
Yeah.
Because I think it confuses a lot of guys not realizing that girls just do not have it in them to be forward.
Sure.
And they're very wait and watchful,
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we have a couple of examples of that. We've got a personal training client who, for years, she's had a full career as a television anchor woman. And so she is as comfortable as they come with talking to people. She talks to people, she's engaging, but nothing compares to the way she is when she's around her husband, then her boyfriend, her husband. Totally different level. Girls have different levels for different people. I am social and engaging because I'm a personal trainer and because I'm an only child and my parents were very social. And so, you know, I was always raised in those circumstances. But that doesn't mean that if you reach out to me in a dating app that I'm going to be super chatty. Because if I'm not interested, I'm just not going to be that engaging.
Yeah.
You know, so that's exactly where what you were saying, like understanding, you know, girls' nature, really being a guy who just gets it goes a long way.
Yeah. I think girls are probably most genuine around their kids. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some moms that people go, yeah, I really never got to know my mom. It's not very common.
Yeah.
But most women, when they're with their kids, are their genuine self.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as, probably more so than with their husband.
Oh, yeah, I
You
think
know?
so too.
So that's where you'll kind of like see them. They're like,
Because with your kids, you aren't even worried about the way you look.
No.
I mean, sometimes I'll be sitting with my kids, and it'll be like nighttime or something, or we'll be watching a movie, and I think, I would hate for Fort Worth to walk in here right now and see me right this second.
That's
like,
funny.
I have this thought regularly.
I don't think I realized that. That's pretty funny.
You know, but you truly are. You're just comfortable. You're snacking. You're watching stuff. You're doing stuff. You're behaving in ways that you only really behave with your kids. I would definitely agree that women are at their most natural for the most part. And I think generations ago that wasn't the case.
No, they had to keep a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now,
I mean,
for
it's kind of sad because like they would lose kids.
Yeah.
You know, kids would die on you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You had to be a lot more regimented. But I don't know how that came up, but I know it all made sense.
It made sense in the beginning.
Yeah. If you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We are genuinely touched by the numbers of you who reach out to us and say, I have listened to every podcast you guys have done. It's fucking awesome. We appreciate you reaching out. We appreciate the kudos. We appreciate the compliments and comments in the comment section below. Thank you. Keep listening. We appreciate you and we want you to win. Bye.